It's good to see everybody. It's good to be back in a limited live capacity for at least the next few weeks. I'm not sure where this is all going or where it's all headed, but I want to take a few minutes and tell everybody about I'm headed to D.C., Washington, D.C. for education in a couple weeks. There won't be a show. What is it? April. Well, it won't be a live show or recorded show. I'll be in a hotel in D.C. So you're sell all that night. There's plenty of good shows out there for you to listen to. Tonight's recording is Bill Bean. Um, he's done a lot of shows, and even back then, this is 2013, I found it hard for myself to put together an interview that hasn't been done with him before. So I don't remember exactly much about this show, so it'd be good to listen to it. I'll catch you on the other side of it with some 2014 reaction or 2014 reaction, 2024 reaction. Good grief almighty. Let's see. What did I? Figured it out finally. Sorry about that. New doing this on the fly. It moves around a little bit, but we got it. So you're not hearing the show. That's wonderful. Hold on, it's here. Where's that at? There's over there. Oh, yeah. So back over here and hit and play again. So stand by.
ParanormalWarehouse.com, social networking site for fans of the paranormal. Create a profile, upload video, audio, and photographic evidence. Make friends and comment on their findings. Join today for free at ParanormalWarehouse.com.
Hi, this is Dave Roundtree, author of Paranormal Technology, Understanding the Science of Ghost Hunting, lecturer, author, and paranormal researcher. And when you're not busy in the field, do what I do and listen to the Mallard Report.
Hey everybody, it's the Mallard Report. It's the Mallard.
The opinions expressed on the Mallard Report are those of the hosts and participants and are not intended to and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of any simulcasting radio network or sponsor. All listeners are advised to make their own decisions.
That's right. Make your own decisions. Think smartly out there, everybody. Hello. Welcome to the Mallard Report, however you may be listening and wherever you may be listening. If you're stuck listening to me in a car, I'm sorry, but you've got the next hour. So hopefully you get to your destination before the show's over. My guest tonight is Bill Bean. I was just talking to him a few seconds off air, and I was going to introduce him, but I was just reading his tagline on his website. I'll read it to you now. Author, actor, speaker, media personality, radio show guest. Where should I start?
You're doing great there, brother. You're absolutely great with all that. And
did I miss anything?
Well, yeah, deliverance minister. Let's see, and what else here? Sort of like a life coach, and so I'm a man with many hats.
Many hats, but no sleep, as we were just talking about as well.
Not much sleep, that's for sure.
You go to bed at 4 a.m. every day? Is that right?
Every morning, yep, absolutely.
I guess then the next question becomes, what time do you get up?
Well, it depends. You know, sometimes in between 8 and 9 o'clock, so I get a few hours.
Yeah, a few, just a few, not much.
But I'm used to it now. My body is used to it, Jim. You know, and I want to thank you so much for having me on. I've heard so many great things about your show and about you as well. So it's my honor and pleasure to be on with you, brother.
Well, I'm not sure who's lying to you, but I'll take all the kind words I can get.
Oh, lots of people are talking good things about you, so you're doing something right.
I hope so. But so where do we want to start? Do you want to start with the books or the acting, or where do we want to start? It's so broad out there.
I'm just a walking miracle. I truly am. And I can never thank God and praise God enough for what he has done for me. And people might say, oh, well, he's some Bible thumper or holy roller. Well, that's not true. These words are not empty. I speak the truth. God really has worked miracles in my life. He continues to do so. So I will forever give him praise for what he has done for me. And, you know, these things began, and Jim, I've often said that I couldn't be where I'm at right now had I not experienced those things back then. Do I wish I could go back and change some things? Absolutely, I do. You know, my family was destroyed by this stuff, and my mother suffered more than any other person I've ever known or seen in my life. So absolutely, I wish I could go back and change it, but I can't. So now I just do the best that I can do, and part of that, being a servant to God, is reaching out and helping people. So that is my calling in life. That is, I get great joy out of helping other people, and God has blessed me with a gift of deliverance, and I have gone to the homes of many people over the last several years around the country, helping those who are in need. I was actually called to a Baptist church 2 years ago in Cape Cod, Massachusetts, and I performed a deliverance cleansing blessing in a Baptist church. The pastor heard me on Coast to Coast Radio, said that he was compelled by God to contact me because he was in a situation that he felt that he couldn't handle. And he called me, we talked, we prayed, and the next thing I know, I was sent a plane ticket to go to Cape Cod, and that's what I did. And I went in and engaged in 5 or 6 hours of spiritual warfare in that church, casting demons out and breaking voodoo curses off of the pastor and his family. And it was a very, very intense situation. Do I enjoy doing these things? Absolutely not. There are a million other things that I'd rather be doing. However, there's nothing that I'd rather be doing when it comes to helping people and helping people to break the chains of this kind of bondage. And when a person is under demonic oppression, that's the best way to equate it. They might as well be in shackles and chains.
Yeah, it fascinates me that, because I've often wondered about churches before, just the kind of curiosity because of all the spiritual energy that goes into them. Not just
Sure, no place is exempt from demonic infestation, and this is why it's so important. It's a big part of my message, Jim, is that each and every one of us, A, have to take this very seriously, and B, we have to be warriors in a sense where we keep this garbage under our feet every day, because God, when he created us with a part of him in each and every one of us. So when Yahweh did create the world and then he created man, he gave man dominion over the earth. And we know this is true because we have dominion over everything. So we know that part's true. So in saying that, we could not have dominion over the earth if we didn't have a part of God within each and every one of us. So when we realize this, we activate this great power that is within us. Yeshua, Jesus, alluded to this many, many times, saying that the power of heaven, the kingdom of heaven is within you. And he said this many times. This is what he was trying to say. If we do have this power within us, we can activate it. And when we do, we become armed and dangerous against Satan and his minions. Satan cannot come and take our power from us. He robs us and he tricks us out of our power, and we give it over to him. So, again, a large part of the message is to build people in mind, body, and spirit, Jim. And again, I'm just so grateful and thankful to be in the position that I'm in now because, as you know, and many others know as well, I've been on the other side of it. I was a victim. And my family was destroyed by this stuff. And, it all began, I say my first book is called Dark Forest, and the second book is called Delivered, and I'm currently working on the third book, which is going to be called 10 Steps to Victory. And in Dark Forest, I say that it all began in 1970 when my family and I moved into a 3-bedroom ranch-style home located in Glen Burnie, Maryland. But it actually goes much further back than that. I was told, after writing Dark Forest, I was told by a family member that... And people, I have very little family left, and the family members I have left, they just really didn't want to go there. They just were uncomfortable in bringing it all up again. But my uncle, sometime after writing Dark Forest, my mother's brother, actually did bring up a few things, and one of the things that he brought up was he was saying that they had supernatural paranormal experiences in their childhood. My mother was the oldest of 3 children, and according to my uncle, they were experiencing these things. And I think it even goes further back than that. I was told that a family member many, many years ago had done something to conjure these negative forces, and that came upon my mother's side of the family and greatly created havoc and many untimely deaths and many bizarre situations and just horrific circumstances. And I believe that evil force actually led us, after my mom had met my dad in 56, they'd met 55, got married in 56, and my sister was born in 57. I think that evil force actually led my parents to that house where evil was already present and manifest because the area itself is very evil. Even to this day, I still get messages from people in the area telling me about the problems that they're having. I actually went to a home 2 years ago in the community of Herondale, and again engaged in spiritual warfare in there. And so these things are still present and manifest and prevalent in the area. And my mom was the first to have an experience in the house. And I was 4 when we moved in, and my sister was 13, my brother was 1. I recall, my first recollections is the house just had a very ominous look and feel about it. I was frightened. First time I saw it, I was frightened. And my sister said the same thing. The house was semi-dilapidated, and there was a old tool shed in the back that just looked like it was falling down, and my dad eventually did take it down. But it just gave you a very, very uncomfortable feeling. And inside as well, my dad was a master carpenter. He saw this as a restoration project, which he did quite a bit of work to it, restoring it, making it look nice. But inside was equally ominous and foreboding. You would walk in. The house was located at the bottom of a downhill cul-de-sac with a very large and long and deep ravine behind it. And you would walk in through the front door, and it was this dark brown paneling on the walls. It was just, the house was always very dark. The paneling was almost black in color. And there was just a heaviness. It was just a heavy vibe, not a positive vibe at all. And like I said, my mom was the first to have an experience shortly after moving in. My dad had taken us with him to his parents' house for the day to allow my mother what she thought would be peace and quiet while she was unpacking and organizing. It was during the course of this that she felt the presence. She spun around thinking that it was my dad sneaking back into the house to play a joke on her. He had that type of sense of humor. And to her shock, when she spun around, nothing was there. So she was taken aback by it. She was unnerved by it. But eventually able to collect herself and go back to doing what she was doing. And it wasn't long after that one of the bedroom doors slammed shut by itself, and that was enough to make her go outside and wait until we returned. So that's where it began, with this feeling of presence and the door slamming, and it gradually escalated into violent physical attacks on us from these demonic entities, and it greatly contributed to the destruction of my family.
It's remarkable to think that some people take this and make it a joke or try to make a buck off of it. It disgusts me.
Yeah, well, absolutely. And take it from someone who lived it. I have zero interest in the ghost hunter shows and all that kind of stuff. I don't watch horror films. I have a lot of friends in the paranormal field, and I love them all. I love all people. I have nothing against anyone. But
oh, come on! You could have told me somebody that you don't particularly like. They're not listening anyway.
I try to love everybody. I do. I try to keep it even keel. I love, and I want to be there to help anybody and everybody. But yeah, I don't watch those kinds of shows. I don't personally, after living so many years of being under that kind of oppression, I would never fill myself with that kind of stuff again. I want to fill myself with good things, with positive things. And that's part of my message as well for people who are under demonic oppression. And when they become free from it, it's very important to have a different mindset, because I can cast demons out of people all day long. If they choose to stay in the same pattern and keep that door open, whatever it may be, that is allowing these things to come back, well, it's like trying to put a forest fire out with a garden hose. It's just not going to work. You'll be doing it and doing it and doing it, and to no avail. So there has to be a mindset change, and that's part of the transformation process. So when I go into a home like this, yeah, I'm going as a deliverance minister, and I'm going for battle. However, the first thing that I do, very first thing I do, is when I step onto the property, I pray. I say a prayer in Hebrew, and then I go into the house, assemble the family, and say another prayer. and I anoint their heads with oil, and then we sit down, and then I become a counselor, and we have to talk, and I have to get to the root of the problem. I need to know what is causing this. Once I've got to the root of the problem, then I can take action in casting this garbage out, and we shut and close and lock and chain and padlock the doors to Satan and his minions. And again, this is part of the transformation process. And Jim, I'll tell you, it's an amazing thing for someone to see in the sense of the change that takes place when a person is willing to make that change. They know that they are in a bad way. They know that if they continue in that bad way, the result is probably going to be death. And they are willing to make the change. And when they're willing to make the change and these things take place, it's remarkable to see that kind of transformation instantly take place. However, it is very important that that person stay in that mindset each and every day. So they'll battle, and it's not just a 1, 2, 3 thing, oh, you're good to go. It requires work on that person's part to stay in that positive mindset, to really stay in that transformation process.
All right, I guess I should probably do this since we haven't done it for a little while. Tonight, my guest is Bill Bean, author of. He's got a title, folks. It's a mile long, but Bill Bean is just an awesome guest. We're just going to leave it at that. So I guess my next question is kind of steering a little off topic, but still on topic. Is what if your advice to a paranormal investigator or a group tonight? What would it be for them?
My advice would be, I would hope that paranormal investigators or groups are out there trying to help people, and if that's the case, then I would urge you to study. My advice is to study. We can never learn enough. Knowledge is power, and we have to look at this really in all things in life. We have to look at our mind as a sponge, and we should be trying to absorb as much knowledge as possible so we can become wise. And when we become wise, we become powerful. And so this would be my strongest advice is to gain in knowledge and do this and continue to do this, I hope, in helping people. It's not about trying to get 15 minutes of fame to be on television or to be a cool guy and be mentioned at the Paracons or whatever it may be. This kind of work should be selfless, and we're here to help others. In turn, God blesses us. If we give without expecting to receive, God will take care of us. We'll get something back. We don't even have to worry about that. So really, it's all about being selfless and putting it all on the line to help someone.
There we go. I'm sorry. Too busy tweeting instead of. I was listening, and then it was like, oh, okay, and then I'm like, oh, back to me.
See that? I bored Jim to sleep already.
No, I'm trying to get people to listen to you, and it's it's like
you got people bombing you on Twitter, and you got all these things going, so you're multitasking.
I'm trying. I'm not good at it. That's the problem.
You're doing it.
And for those who are wondering, I'm at I Talk Paranormal if you want to keep doing it. So, because I'm actually at Mallard, which is my personal account. But as you may notice, there's an I in there, and it throws people off. So I went. I went. That
where do we go? I thought I was spelling your name wrong. I said, well, wait a minute. Oh, there is an I in there.
Yep. So that's why I had to find something that hopefully everybody in this field can spell. I mean, I guess I require that much of them. If they want to listen to my show, they should be able to spell I Talk Paranormal.
Well, we certainly hope so.
So my next question, I was looking at your site. You've got all these great things you've done and all the books and this, that, and the other. But like my eyes kept coming back to this 700 Club story that you had posted.
Oh yeah.
I'm doing the research and I'm bringing you on my show. I'm assuming you have a bigger staff than me. I would hope, because if they have one person doing it all, anyways. But don't they understand what you do? I didn't understand that.
I don't think they do, Jim.
I didn't follow that at all. I don't know. Maybe it's just me ranting on there for you.
Really, yeah. I don't think they do understand. And I have to tell you, I would be lying if I said that I wasn't upset over this. I was very upset because, again, my wife and I invited them into our home. They contacted me. I didn't contact them. They contacted me out of the blue, I think in June. Bill, we're really impressed by your story. We just really want to do a story on you and all these things. And I said, okay, sure, no problem. And so they came out, I think it was August 30th, spent a whole day with me. We opened our home up to them, and everything seemed to be fine. And they asked me a million questions, and I gave them their answers. I told them everything, so I didn't hold anything back to them at all. I gave them copies of both of my books. I provided them with everything they needed to have a total understanding of me and my story. And they even accompanied me to the home of a family that was under demonic oppression. So they shot me while I was performing a deliverance. And they were very impressed by that. And everything seemed to be great. And then all of a sudden, you know, the segment was supposed to air, I think they were saying October. So October came and went. And then it was going to be November. And I kept getting messages once in a while, and I noticed that I was not getting anything unless I sent a message or I called. And then they would give a short reply back and say, oh, no, everything's fine. We're going to air it. You know, it'll be airing soon. We're putting the final touches on it and all this stuff. Well, when November came and went, I thought something is wrong here. And sure enough, on December 3rd, I received an email. I didn't even receive a call. I received an email from the segment producer informing me that they were not going to air my segment because of my continued involvement with UFOs. That they went to my Facebook pages. Now, I have 4 Facebook pages, 2 public and 2 personal pages. And they were saying, according to this segment producer, that they saw photographs of UFOs that I had posted on those pages. Now, that is a lie, Jim. That's a lie. I have no UFO photos on any of my pages, and if I did, that's my business. I can put whatever photos I want to put on my pages. I don't have to seek their approval for anything.
Yeah, I was going to say, what difference does it make?
Yeah, so I mean, it looked to me, you know, in retrospect, they were searching for a way to sever this. That they really, I think they had no intentions of airing this. Why? I don't know. But they were searching for a way, because if you had a problem with someone, wouldn't you say to that person, hey, I need to call you and we need to talk about something here. Something has come to our attention, and could you tell me your version of it, and can we clear this up? You know, if they really wanted to work it out. But no, I received an email. That was it. We're not going to air it, and this is why, and have a nice life, pretty much. Well, you know, I was very upset by it. I gave them a reply back, and I stayed respectful, but still, they got my point. And then I had my agent issue a statement, and I followed that up by making a public statement, because a lot of people were anxious to see me on that program and that segment air. So I made a public statement, and boy, I'll tell you, there was outrage. There was outrage from people that they had done that to me. And if that is being a good Christian, well, I'm glad I'm not a good Christian then, because you just, for me, all people are welcome around me. And if I have a church one day, all people will be welcome in my church. And it's not for me to judge anyone. You know, I live by 2 things. I love God with every fiber of my being. He's number 1 in my life. That is the truth. Secondly, I love my friend, neighbor, and brother as I would myself. Period. End of story. I cannot judge anybody because I don't have the power and authority to judge anybody, nor does anyone else.
Yeah, like I said, that's what my eyes kept coming back to. I'm like, yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Why would you go to all the hassle, all the trouble of coming out and filming it, and then just say, oh, I mean, you know what
Yeah.
your show is when you go out to film it. I mean, it's not like I sent a camera crew down
Yeah,
not knowing what I was doing.
Jim, mind-boggling, absolutely mind-boggling. Something happened there, and I don't know what, and I guess I'll never know what. And that's it. You know, somebody put the kibosh on that. Somebody didn't want that to air, and it didn't air.
Probably made it all the way to the top.
But it sounds like to me, and again, you know, without really knowing the answer, something abruptly happened for them to do what they did in the manner that they did it, and that was the end of it. So somebody said something, hey, this is not going to air, period. And that's it. So, yes, I was angry at first. I have moved past it. I forgive them. I won't forget it. And they better never call me for an interview again. That'll never happen.
Well, hold on, I think I got somebody on the... I'm just kidding.
And I wish them well. You know, I wish them well. I'm on the bigger and better things. And what's unfortunate about that is, the most unfortunate thing about that is that there may have been someone in that audience, in that viewing audience, that needed something that day. And had they, you know, been witness to my story, and had they seen that segment air, it may have reached out to someone and spoke to someone who was in need. And that's the unfortunate thing about it. You know, there were people in need during that time that may have contacted me for help. And now, you know, with it not airing, they may still be in darkness. And I certainly hope not. But it's just very, very unfortunate. And that to me, when I think of something like that, that's the most unfortunate part of the whole thing.
All right, I guess I probably should do this again before I forget, because I try to do it every so often because people tune in and out and all that fun stuff. My guest tonight is Bill Bean, deliverance minister, author. Oh, geez, just go to what is it? BillBean. What's your website?
Yeah, it's two sites: BillBean.net and BillBean104.com. So I have two sites, and they're both great sites. And
how'd you get suckered into getting two sites?
Well, there's just so much information. And, there's a little extra on one and something different on the other. So I recommend going to both of them.
Yeah, I know. I've looked at them both today. I have BillBean104.com open right now. Just trying to stay afloat right now. But yeah, it's just, anyway. So okay, tell me about, you're working on Dark Force the movie right now, right? Is that what I remember you telling me? So where's that at?
Yeah, it's very exciting, Jim, and that's another thing that kind of came out of the blue because 3 years ago I had signed a movie option with a different company, and you know, I was very excited about that, but unfortunately it didn't go anywhere, and I was in limbo for 2 years under contract, and I had many serious offers from some big-time people, and I couldn't do it because I was under contract. So to make a long story short, we ended up terminating the contract. Both parties were in agreement that you know, we would just terminate the contract, and I got the rights back. And it wasn't long after that I was approached by 35mm Pictures, and we began to talk, and I knew right away that this was going to be a fit for me. Great people, great company. Dale Laves is the CEO, producer, writer, great guy. Couldn't ask for anybody better. And we got a contract done, and then he went to work, and boy, I'll tell you, in a short amount of time, he had the script written, the screenplay, the whole works, and we're very excited about it. We have a delay now because we were set to begin filming on January 14th, but now things are delayed, and it may not be until March before things really get going here. So whatever the case may be, I'm very excited about it, very much looking forward to it. It is going to be a major motion picture, and it's going to be shot, most likely now, the way it looks as of now, in Shelby, Ohio. And they have gone to great lengths to try and capture the authenticity of the story. So I am the executive producer on the movie, which means and the way this thing is going to be presented. And we are going to present this in the most authentic way as possible.
Well, I was going to say, it's finding is, I'm assuming this is a smaller town in Ohio. They've looked high and low. I mean, it's not like they've said, oh, we're going to film it on set. So, I mean, just hearing that part of it makes me...
Exactly. Yeah, and I think, I think it'll be a refreshing change for the viewing audience to see a movie that and it is not Hollywooded up. And I think that'll be refreshing for audiences to see the difference, enhanced content and Hollywood special effects and all that kind of stuff. As opposed to it's going to be a very, very powerful presentation. And the best part about it is in the end credits, as the movie is ending, there will be contact information listed in the final credits for anyone that is in need of help. My information will be there. And so that's our way of trying to reach out to people and saying, hey, if you need help, you're having similar things, contact Bill Bean and we will get you help.
Well, people that want to wait till the movie rolls, I mean, that'll be another. Actually, got that Crossroads while it's fresh in my mind.
So I'm sorry, I didn't hear you, Jim.
I said, go ahead and give the contact information for it now.
Oh, sure. Thank you, brother. Yeah, for anyone who's out there and might be in need of prayer delivered, copies of my books, Dark Force, are delivered. Please visit email me directly I answer every single message. As Jim had mentioned, I'm a very from all walks of life, from everywhere, even different parts of the world. So it's a wonderful blessing. I'm in service to God, therefore I'm in service to my fellow man. And please, if you're having problems, I urge you to contact me, and we can get you some help.
There you go. And I'll post that all on the blog after the show with the podcast. So if you're listening to the podcast, you can find it there too as well. So
it's just amazing. It really is. It's a classic example of how God could take something that's so horrific, so bad, and it was horrific, and my family was destroyed by evil. And yet God could turn that around for the good now, and He has worked through me to many people's lives to build them back up. And I mean, people from you would be shocked. I mean, police captains, people like this. I could go on and on and on. Very, very have contacted me, and again, I'm grateful to God for having me to be in this position to help. But you would be shocked at the amount of people and different types of people contacting me.
Well, I mean, everybody has a spiritual person. I mean, how do I want to word that? Everybody's a spiritual being. Yeah. Because that didn't sound.
Well, you're right. You're absolutely right. And again, I'm not coming off a Bible thumper or a holy roller. I am very well read, I'll tell you that. And this is another miraculous part of my transformation. When I have an 8th grade my mom had died. My beloved grandmother, Dora Harvey, suddenly died from a sudden series of heart attacks, and then 2 months and 2 days later, my beloved mother, 44. So those were the two lied about my age, stopped going to school, and I went to work for a construction company. So that's very easily you just left it at that. Well, I'm uneducated, and I don't aspire to be anything in life, and I'll just I'll either work hard or I'll be very busy, try and cause as much bitterness and pain for as many people as I possibly can. And I might end up in prison, or I might end up dead. I could have very easily have taken those roads, let me tell you. And through all that, I finally made a choice to say I'm better than that, I can be better than that, I can do better than that, and I can also be more educated than that. And that's exactly what God to praise and thanks for leading me out of that, and for to broaden my knowledge. And I'm happy to tell you now, where I'm ashamed to say that I have an 8th grade education, and I'm a very educated man. and I have intelligence far beyond I imagine in my life. And again, God gets the glory for that. But this is why I say to people, knowledge is power. The more you increase your knowledge, the more powerful you can become, the better you can become. And it's all about trying to be the best that you can be, no matter what that is. And, once you find your purpose in life, then you just focus on that as your goal, and you just continue to move forward, and you cannot allow anything to stop you.
It's true. You just gotta take what you can get, but you gotta help yourself. You can't wait for somebody to give everything to you either.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. You've got to have the drive. You've got to have the ability to not only make the choice, but to follow through. So the thought has to be involved, but also the action has to go hand in hand with it.
My guest tonight on my fan page before the show, probably half an hour before the show. I try to get people thinking about the show. I asked what drives Bill Bean. I know you've done, it says on your site, over 800 interviews. I'm sure that number's outdated by now. But
oh yeah, it's
surprisingly, nobody gave me a comment. So what drives Bill Bean to keep getting up after a few hours of sleep?
And again, this process is every day for help. Just before I got on the show, I was just talking again. Like I mentioned, I was on the phone with a family from Chicago, and they're having problems there. To them, and they're going to be flying me out to Chicago to perform deliveries out there. And I've been so many places over the last several months around the country doing this because there are so many people they want that. Everybody wants a better life, and everybody wants to be free from all this negativity and holding them back. So that's where I'm at now. This person and that person's telling that person. So I think the word of mouth is really, that's why things have increased here, because people are recommending it. Help people to become the best that they can be and to be out of the darkness and in God's light.
Yeah, I guess that's
yes, it is a good thing. It's a wonderful thing. There's nothing better than the transformation taking place in their eyes. Get messages back from people a couple months later. Now, but to get messages back later, I think is great. I'm doing so well. And now they have that transformation take place. Now all of a sudden everything is going right, and they're happy and they're moving forward, and it's just one way or the other. When we get into good things, it's a negative pattern. That unfortunately negativity, and that snowballs into power. They gain in power from all of the negativity that's taking place. Negative, demonic forces feed off of, and that is how they gain in power. So it's very, very important to try and stay positive. Trying to of God's light and not darkness. Because when we fill ourselves with darkness, guess what's going to come back out? Darkness.
Yeah, it's what you put out, what you get back. Some people would call it karma, some people, whatever you want to call it. It's all the same thing, no matter what you call it. So.
Absolutely.
I know the movie's going on. Right? Did I hear you say that?
The third book that I'm writing is called 10 Steps to Victory, And that is pretty much what we're talking about right now, empowering people, letting people know that we do have power. It's God's power that is within us. So when we can activate that, make a choice to activate that, our lives will suddenly get better. Our transformation process. And so I hope to, I'll continue with that message, believe me, for as long as I'm on this earth, and I certainly hope that it resonates enough to where it affects thousands and then hopefully millions.
When that's done, you just shoot me a message, and I'll get you on in 6 months because I'm so booked up behind. But
That's right. We're gonna be. Hey, I look forward to coming back. I can't wait. We've always, there's always new information to talk about, and we're just scratching the surface with a lot of things here. And
that was the goal, to kind of just put all the stuff. Well, I don't want to put all the stuff on the table because that'd take hours, but just put, let you see the menu, I guess, is the way I guess I should coin that right now.
That's exactly right. And I'm just so thankful that there are people out there that really see this and they say, wow, I was listening to your interview and it just really touched me, and I saw you somewhere and saw you speak, or you were giving a lecture here or there or whatever, and it really resonated with me, and that's it's a wonderful thing when you know that you've made a positive connection with someone, because every man's life touches another in some way, and we always hope that it's in a positive way.
So I've got a question here. I'm trying to read it so I can get it right. What do you think? What do you say to all the people out there that are doing paranormal hunts that is not God's work, not doing it in that light, just doing it to try to learn about the other side or whatever, however they want to put that forward? What do you think about that?
Well, I just say be careful, because literally it's like swimming with the sharks. You don't know what is there, and if something manifests that looks like a little boy or a little girl or something like that, might not be a little boy or a little girl. It could be a demon in disguise. You've got to be very, very careful, because once a person is exposed to this kind of stuff and an attachment takes place, there's going to be a real battle after that. And that person, becomes marked. And it's again, it is a real battle to become free. And then once the person is free, they've got to be very careful for the rest of their lives, to not open doorways back up to attract that stuff again. So my best advice there would be just, I don't condemn anybody for anything they do, but, my best advice would be to be very, very careful.
Yeah, sound advice too. I mean, you can't be spiritually weak in any, I hate going here, but believe in what you believe in, whatever it may be. But don't be.
Yeah.
There. I guess I got that cleared up pretty quick. It's
very difficult and very dangerous, I'll say. It's a very dangerous thing. It's not a game, that's for sure.
And then the follow-up, I guess this came flying in here, is do you think a whole group of, like a team name can be marked by a demon, or is it the person then?
Oh, no, a whole group could be. Again, if people go into something that they have no idea what they've gone into, then these people could be instantly oppressed, and then they take that, demon or demons home with them, and guess what happens? The whole family becomes affected, and then everyone around that person becomes affected. I call it a spiritual virus. And before you know it, everything's in chaos, and everybody's trying to figure out what is going on, why is all this happening, and that's exactly what happened. So one must be very, very careful.
Sage advice for any, like I said, it doesn't matter what you believe, just you got to believe it. That's the bottom line. I don't want to offend anybody, but there you are. I probably did anyways, so can't make everybody happy all the time, Jim, so just keep going.
Hey, you said it well, and you said it right, and it's about loving and respecting everybody, which I have great love and respect for everyone, and I don't judge anyone, and I just try to be something to somebody each and every day.
So I'm reading down this list of appearances on TV and radio. Which one? If you could go back and say, well, I don't want to say delete it, but there was a moment that you said something, or you just really sticks out in all of these. Is there a moment? I'm sure there's a moment, but anything.
What, in a bad way?
Yeah, something you just kind of I mean, you don't have to give very specifics, but I guess I'm just kind of asking a long-winded question for a yes answer. But
Yeah, well, I have an answer for that. In 2008, my wife and I got baptized, and as a child, my family didn't have any religious structure. You know, my parents believed in God, but we'd never once attended church as children. We didn't read the Bible, and we were never baptized or anything like that. So my wife and I got baptized together in December of 2008. Great, wonderful, blessed experience. We had decided to make God first in our life. It was the greatest decision and the best decision that we ever made. We've been abundantly blessed since. Now, and I don't have any of those experiences anymore either, and I praise God for that. I would never, knowing what I know now and having the power I have now, which is God's power that is within me, I would never have that garbage in my life ever again, because I could take power and authority over it. So looking back, what happened was we were baptized in a Pentecostal church. And nothing against Pentecostals, nothing against anyone, but we suddenly became very religious. And we began to shut people out of our life. And we suddenly couldn't associate with this one or that one because they were held bound, and this one was doing this and that one was doing that. We can't talk to them. And we gave away like 500 DVDs and CDs and all this kind of stuff. Couldn't listen to it, didn't want this or that anymore. So we became very, very religious. And there's a fine line in life to everything. There has to be balance. And when we step to one side or the other too far, well, we become unbalanced. And then that leads to problems. And that's exactly what happened. And I started to do a series of interviews, and I was condemning people, and I was judging people, and I offended a lot of people. And that is a big regret. I wish I could take that back, but, you know, my mindset is not that way any longer. But I was in that mindset for a while. And when I wrote my second book, Delivered, it had a very heavy religious message. And, you know, I'm not in agreement with that now. As a matter of fact, I'm going to have to go back and rewrite some of that, because I am not in agreement with that doctrine and philosophy any longer. And am I any less a child of God? No. I love God with everything that I have. You know, I mean, he's first in my life. That's true. But I do not agree with the doctrines of men. There are 34,000 different Christian denominations in the world, factored in with all the other world religions. I believe there are 14 or 15 other major world religions. There's only one truth. So you have all these thousands of versions of one truth. This is why it's so very important for us to have our personal connection with God. Yeshua Jesus never proclaimed to be a Christian. There was no such thing. Christianity was formed by the Roman Emperor Constantine. That's a whole other show, but I have done serious research. It took me 3 years to do serious studies into Christianity, the Bible, the 66 books of the King James, the other 534 books that were left out, and ancient history as well. And when you do these kind of studies, you really have a different outlook on some things, and you could see where men made some things up. Now, do I believe that the Bible is the infallible Word of God? I used to believe every word was true. I no longer believe that, and I could show you why. I do believe some of it's true. I absolutely do. But, you know, men have greatly altered it for their purposes and for their reasons. So I refuse to follow man-made doctrines, and I just love everybody, and I just, you know, want to be a servant to God and a servant to my fellow man, and we're all guilty of something, and we're all going to stand for that. And in spite of that, God loves us anyway. So this is where we really have to tune in on our personal relationship with God, each and every one of us.
Well, you just kind of reinforced what I was just saying. You have to believe in what you believe in, and you can't, just because somebody tells you to believe in it doesn't mean you should believe in it. That gets people in a lot of trouble. So.
Well, what has happened here, Jim, unfortunately, the world is made up of mostly followers now. And so it's very easy to lead masses of people. And so it's very important for people to make sure that the messenger is right. And I tell people all the time, if you don't believe what I'm saying, and I urge you to do the research, don't take my word for anything. Do the research for yourselves. And if you do that kind of research that I did for 3 years, you will be astounded, because there are big differences. And when you read it and do that research, your eyes are going to be opened. This is why I say I love all people, and I'm not against anybody. There are good people in all races, creeds, and colors. There are many, many good people, and I refuse to condemn a race of people just because we have differences with them, or just because we perceive them as killers or whatever it may be. I just refuse to see that. I want to see the good in people. Everybody has the ability to love and to be loved, and the ability to do good. We also can do evil by our choice. And, again, this is where I hope that people will make the choice just to do good and to not make the choice to do evil. And but it all does come down to our choices.
My guest tonight is Bill Bean. And it seems like forever ago. It was just about an hour ago. We were talking off air. And you said to me that it seems like these, besides becoming more known, that your caseloads been picking up in intensity over the last few months. Do you have any reason for that?
I think probably what the reason is, most likely, I'm thinking that the word of mouth is going around, and people are saying, if you're having a problem like this, contact Bill Bean, and, he helped me, he did this, and he did that. I think that's what's happening now. I think the word is just really going around, and I think that there's always been people out there in need. And I, based on the people that God has worked through me to help, these people had nowhere to turn, nobody to turn to. They even went to their churches, some of these people, and they were turned away by the pastors, saying that they weren't equipped. They weren't trained to help them in this way. They needed to pray more, and they were showing a lack of faith in things of this nature. Isn't that nice to turn someone away like that is in need in this way? Their lives are being destroyed, and they're just turned away and just shunned. And this has to stop. And this is the example I'm trying to set is really the example I follow that Jesus had set, where you love everybody and you try to help everybody.
Makes sense to me to try to help somebody. I mean, I don't understand why pastors would turn people away, but then again, I don't understand a lot of things, so we're just going to leave that fizzle into the background, and maybe somebody can explain that to me. But I want to give you another chance before, because we're fastly, as you know. Like I told you, we're just going to run out of time tonight.
Well, we knew it. We knew that the time would go very quickly, and I want to thank you so much for having me on. It's been a real pleasure. It really has, and I knew the time would go quickly.
I want to give you a chance again to get your site out there and all and the book titles, and just give yourself a pat on the back here. So go ahead.
Well, and I want to thank everybody out there for listening to the show, and God bless all of you. And if you need me for anything, please don't hesitate to contact me at either billbean.net or billbean104.com. If you'd like to order a copy of Dark Forest or delivered, I sign every copy. And feel free, billbean.net, billbean104.com. If you're in need of prayer or deliverance, please, again, same thing, billbean.net, billbean104.com. And you can email me directly from the website, and I answer every single message.
Silly question, but there's got to be an answer. Where does the 104 come from?
104 is it is just a good number for me. It is a number that's been around me all my life, and it is a number that when I know that number's around, good things happen. So that is just a good number for me. And it's a number I like having around.
Well, guess I answered my question. Never, sometimes it's just random. Sometimes, I was hoping you'd say, well, that was the first one available. Oh, that wouldn't have been good. But
well, you're going to get an answer from me. So no matter what the question is, you'll get an answer back.
So, book, movie, which one's going to be done first? Do you have any idea? Probably
the book is probably, the book's because that's going to be like a 50 or 60 page handbook. What that is going to be, it's going to serve as a guidebook for those who are seeking self-empowerment. For those, there'll be a section in there for deliverance and spiritual warfare. There will be a section with many wonderful uplifting scriptures, many uplifting, inspirational, motivational quotes, daily affirmation prayers, things of that nature. That's what this book is going to be. It's going to be a 60-page power-packed book of nothing but goodness and positive things to fill a person when they are in a crisis, when they're having a bad day. They can pick that book up and fill themselves with goodness, and suddenly things will change for them.
Sounds good. It's got I don't want to say I'm spine tingling, but it's got my shoulders going up. Like it's something I'm looking forward to. So.
Oh, I'll be sending you a copy once it's done. And, that was another thing that God brought to me because I was asleep. It was a Saturday morning. I want to say probably about 5 weeks ago. I was sound asleep, and all of a sudden I woke up, and this image was in my mind. I saw the book cover. I saw my picture on the cover. I saw what the cover looked like. I saw what the title was. The title said 10 Steps to Victory. Saw my picture on the cover. God showed it to me very clearly, and I got up and I started working on it right away.
That's a good thing. I mean, some people, i.e. me, that's the only one I can speak for right at this point. People have said I should put a book together about this, that, and the other, and I've said, okay, I should yeah, you're right, I probably should, because, I don't talk a lot about myself on air, this, that, and the other, and give me a good platform to go around and promote myself on other people's shows, all that fun stuff. Try to sell a book and the show at the same time.
Do it.
So, yeah, do it. That's it. I sit down to do it.
And when you're ready to do it, Jim, you'll do it. And when you're ready to do that, it requires a commitment. For me, the way I write, certainly with the first book, Dark Force, I had to commit myself 2 to 4 hours every night, whether I wanted to or not. I did that 2 to 4 hours every night until it was done.
Yeah, maybe when the kids get just a little bit older.
Yeah, I understand.
But,
I totally understand.
I don't want to open a whole can of worms because we've got a couple minutes left, but I don't want to just wrap it down yet. So, boy, see, my mind shut off because I was thinking, we're almost there. That's okay, though. So.
Yeah, you're in countdown mode now.
Yeah, trying to protect the end of the show because I don't want to hard cut you. So.
It's been great, brother. It really has, and I've enjoyed it. And I look forward to coming back.
Oh, well, like I said, we'll have to get that taken care of here pretty soon. And actually, I shouldn't be saying this on air, but I want to keep you on air I want to keep you on the phone for another minute afterwards because I got something I want to tell you. Just
okay.
Before I forget, hang up on you
Sure.
and move on with my life. But
that's all right.
Might as well say it. It's out now. I tried to slow down and talk really low like nobody could hear me. But that's the worst. That was the premise of the show when it started. I wanted this to broadcast the phone calls. So, of course, there are some things that I just can't say on air. I'd like to right now, but once I tell Bill, he'll understand. He understands. He deals with contracts and people and all of this, that, and the other. So
Absolutely, brother. I totally understand it.
So we're closing in on a minute. So with everything that goes on daily in your life, you see all these people talking about I don't want to open the whole. You said you don't watch any of the shows, but what entertains you? What do you do to get away?
I very seldom get away, to be honest with you. I watch very little TV. I am pretty much most of my time is consumed with this. Again, I travel and I make appearances for lectures and things of that nature, but I also travel with the deliverance, performing the deliverance aspect as well. And being an ordained minister, I also can perform wedding vows. And a few weeks ago, I performed a renewal of wedding vows, which was very nice, very joyous occasion. And it was a nice break for me because, usually I'm going into these negative situations, and it's very draining after it's over with. And so it was nice to have the change of pace to go into a total joyous occasion.
And here I go cutting you off. I'm sorry. I'll talk to you in a minute.
Okay.
Before we flip that on-air sign to the off position, a quick reminder. For all things about the report, previews, and reviews, go to www.mallard.com. That's www.mallard.com. And if you want to read more about my team, or Jim's team, or just keep up to date on the report, visit iTalk.
Good call, Gio. Turn the mic on. Always a good idea. Okay. Re-rack. So we learned some things from Bill tonight. I think the important thing was you got a little deeper insight into how the spiritual and religious kind of meshed and kind of didn't mesh, which was exciting for me to hear again. Obviously, cut the outro music and all that fun stuff. But the key is to believe what you believe. I think I got there in the show even. I still believe it. You have to, whatever you believe in it. And that's what was exciting for me to take away from the night, that I was still in that moment. I was saying, mic off, so I'll say it again, because next week is the 2nd of April, 24. I will be doing another one of these recorded shows, hopefully a little bit more prepared, but we'll see. And then the 9th, I'm off. No recording, no live show, no nothing. I'm going to be in Washington, D.C. that night, and I'm leaving here at 5 a.m. that morning, so 9 o'clock that night, I hope to be fast asleep. The 16th, start spreading the news. Going to have a live show come back for one night at least. We're going to do live calls. I'm going to talk about DC and all of that. So that'll be fun. Kind of catch up with some people and, and share my stories. And then, deferred, I don't know. We'll talk about that on the 16th. So I appreciate everybody for hopping on and going down memory lane with me. That's all. It's been fun the last few months or so. But until next week, talk to you soon.